Hi, good evening. I'm Hattie Cohen-Derrick. I'm the Director of Community Engagement and Inclusion. Thanks for coming this evening, and thanks for being online for those who are online. Just some ground rules. Whoop. Wrong way. We are recording. This will be broadcasted on New TV, and we're going to put a link on our website, so just so that everyone knows that they're being recorded. I'd like to introduce our City SEAL team. We have Lisa Daddy. Where's Lisa? We have Bill Humphrey in the front row. Okay, did you see that move by itself? Myself, we have Jim Murphy, Ryan, and Shuby. They have been part of our team. And then we have Sebastian Ebarb. So some community guidelines. We're going to go over the 3 designs, give you some feedback, how we got to the 3 designs, and then in the end we're going to take some questions talking about those, talking about those 3 designs. Everyone, if you have community comment, will be limited to 3 minutes each person.
Hello everybody, my name is Sebastian Ellington, Flying Eagle Ebarb. I want to say thank you to everybody who's tuning in and who has joined us in person. We're going to take a look at our 3 different drafts for consideration from this wonderful city, and hopefully y'all get a little bit more information on where the committee kind of was thinking and what we decided to kind of put forward for y'all for consideration. So the first design that we have here, or option number 1, excuse us while we get to the slide. Hold on, please. We're having just a little bit of technical difficulty. We'll get there in just a moment. There we go. It's okay. So this is option A. You might have seen it on some of the brochures or pamphlets or in and around City Hall, up on some of the monitors. So the idea here is that we want to make sure that we're creating something that's official, something that's classic. In this particular design, it celebrates Newton's rich history with celebratory banners flanking this City Hall in itself. The seal emphasizes the city's heritage. The typography at the top, you'll notice here, is a little bit different than some of the other typography that we've seen before. So this is actually pulled from a previous city seal in order to add some continuity to the visual. The overall design fits seamlessly within the broader pantheon of Massachusetts city and town seals and works quite nicely at a variety of different scales. Heidi, if you don't mind going to the next. Yes, thank you so much. The next one, there we go, is very official, it's classic, and it's everlasting. This design offers a close-up of City Hall, showing one of its lower spires from a historic and heroic angle. As one of Newton's most iconic non-religious buildings, City Hall symbolizes the proud history of the city. The upward perspective of the spire is meant to evoke hope and dignity. The intricate details of the building emphasize Newton's historic character and tie it to the new seal. And we can move on to option C. So one of the things that we heard very frequently from folks in both the survey and just folks talking to us was the term garden city, and this is something that folks really wanted to exemplify in the work in itself. Option number 3 is our more naturalistic piece. The computer is flipping through the images on its own. Although Newton does not have an official tree, the red maple would be a fitting choice. Ubiquitous throughout the city, the red maple is both colorful and iconic, symbolizing endurance and beauty, qualities synonymous with Newton. This design uses I cannot say the word, it's a 13-sided shape, y'all, rather than a circle on the outside to represent all of the 13 villages here in this beautiful city, adding a unique touch to the seal. And those are our 3 options for us to discuss.
So now we're going to take comment from participants. Again, 3 minutes each. When it's your turn, we'll call on you. If you're online, if you can raise your hand virtually, and then we'll pick you. We also handed out brochures, so if you haven't voted and want to vote, you can do that by scanning the QR code. Comments, questions about the 3 designs?
status of these? I came in a little late, and you may have said already, but are these what, the choice would be how it is now, except rearranging the elements? Or is there more freedom to, like, say, for instance, change the tree? If it were chosen, could it be a different tree? All right.
Do you want to answer?
So the question was, just to make sure everybody heard it, how much of this is static and how much can we rearrange and potentially change moving forward? And so the answer is, these are the drafts that we're putting forward. Certainly we can mix and match certain elements of this, specifically the inner illustrations and then the outer kind of banners. Certainly if there was, we heard from a number of folks that they wanted to change the tree to an elm or something like that, then that's something that could be potentially discussed. Nothing here is set in stone, but rather we're providing a place for people to react, and so we can get feedback and information.
The other question that was out there was about cost, so I will address that. There actually isn't any cost to any of these. What we're looking at is, once we have our new design, the survey ends on August 21st. We wanted to allow enough time for people to respond, to hear this, if they had questions, so August 21st. Then we will look at which was the chosen design, changing the elements to that, add some color, and then go forward. Once a final design is chosen, then we'll look at, all right, so we need to get new cars. City seal will be swapped out. We're not changing the city seal that's in the floor of the rotunda. We're not changing the city seal that's in other public buildings. We're putting a sign on there to talk about it and doing that. Things like trash cans, if we ordered new trash cans, which we would order anyway, this seal would be changed out. But we're not saying, okay, as of September blah, 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 the city seal's being changed.
And just to add to this, this is a pretty standard practice for many other cities and towns who are changing both logos and or seals. Many cities change them and reevaluate their seals on a very consistent basis every 20, 30 years. Some like them much longer, obviously, but normally when either a logo or a seal is swapped out, this is a standard practice across the United States of waiting until something wears out, then replacing the new item with the new content.
Thank you. Other questions? Julie?
This is just for you to repeat something you said about, I think it was option B about the spire. You said it was something like you were reading, I think I don't understand.
I will reread my script. So option number 2, I believe, this design offers a close-up of City Hall, showcasing one of its lower spires from a heroic angle. Yeah. Would you like me to continue? Okay. As one of Newton's most iconic and non-religious buildings, City Hall symbolizes the proud history of the city. The upward perspective of the spire is meant to evoke hope and dignity. The intricate details of the building emphasize Newton's historic character and tie it to the new seal. The new seal.
And I know you'll want slides afterwards, so we'll send you slides out. You had your hand raised, right? Okay.
Hi, my name's Al Cicconelli, 224 Chapel Street, Newton. Lived here all my life. And this has been the city seal all my life. I'm very disappointed that one of the choices isn't to keep the seal. I'm also deeply, deeply offended that if this is offensive to people, that we're not immediately changing all of the seals, that we're not tearing up the lobby of the City Hall. If this is as hurtful as they say it is, then why aren't we doing that? We've had this seal for hundreds of years. I think the only other options are leave the seal the same, or I brought my own seal. Here it is. It's a blank white sheet of paper. This way it never offends anybody. You have liberty and unity on this. There's no liberty involved with changing our seal. There's no unity involved. we've got probably 10% of the people that are a loud minority saying that because of things that happened in other parts of our country, we should remove any Native American reference to this city, and I find that highly offensive. Thank you.
Other comments?
I hear what you said. And I'm processing, I won't have it processed in time to make this comment, but I'll be thinking about it for sure. I find it really disappointing that we lost all of that content that came from the City Seal Committee meeting, the citizen group, the advisory panel group. There was such great input about what to keep, what to change and why, and the meaning in terms of Native Americans was really well thought out. It wasn't just, reactive, kind of has to change this or that. So therefore, I would never abbreviate Massachusetts to MA. Always say Massachusetts and leave off the S. That would be my vote, so that it represents the tribe for whom we are, we have taken their name. And the other thing I would say is that the tree has the continuity. It represents a lot of things about Newton in so many different ways and levels, but it also brings that continuity to the land. And that's kind of the connection with the people who were here who, made such a kind of wonderful connection to the land that we can still be learning from. I believe it was an oak tree in the original design and at the spot that represents, which is, just over the hill a little bit, and is represented over there at the memorial on the memorial plaque and so forth. So, that would just be an easy kind of way, and as an educator, just give me a tiny thing like that, and there's so much that can be done to bring in history and meaning and so forth. So I love that. And the other thing I love about it is, I love the Garden City in terms of what it has to do with today and also the history. And then the roots. A lot of times Native folks themselves, and I'm involved with one group, Mashpee Wampanoag Resources Group, and the symbol is a beautiful tree. They're white pine, they're tall white pine, which is very important. But in the design, there's no roots. And, we could one-up them. I'm done.
Can you just also say your name? I didn't hear that the first time you spoke.
I didn't say it yet. I'm Judy Batat.
Thank you. Other comments? I'm looking at Julie because I know. Oh.
Hi, I'm Terry Sarrow. I live at 44 Cook Street. I've lived in Newton all my life. I find this very offensive to change the seal. I am not in support of changing the seal. Pardon? Oh.
It's just a reverb.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
The designs are lovely, but why are we changing history? This has been going on since 1837, I think. I don't find it offensive. I don't know why people are finding the seal offensive. I will not support it. I don't know if there's a committee that, I know this formed a couple of years ago, and we have a group of us also from Nonantum that if this should pass city council, we will do a referendum and let people vote if they want to change the seal. But I find it offensive, and I'm not offensive to your designs. I think they're lovely, but I think we're just changing history, and who are we to change history? Thank you.
did you have, it looked like you had something to, a question.
I mean, it's hard for me to type.
Oh, sorry.
The tree, I heard, just to double check, you said, what is that tree?
A red maple. A red maple, yeah. We had a discussion with a number of folks within City Hall, and then,
And with Mark Welch, our urban forester, I don't know Mark's official name, but then talking about the typical trees in the area, and so that's how we landed on the red maple. Yep.
correct.
We learned a lot. We don't have an official tree and we don't have an official flower. So, the next voting maybe?
Yeah, most of my questions have to do with just not being able to understand.
My apologies.
I understand, you want to be careful. But I think, and you said you're not, basically, you're not changing any like hard surfaces that would cause construction. It's just really as needed.
Right. So many of our ISD, DPW workers have uniforms where on their T-shirts they have the city seal. So those would be switched out as we order additional clothing. But again, like the rotunda, we would not do, jackhammer that out. Putting up a plaque, a sign talking about the history of that sign, of the old city seal. By Tuesday, August 21st. And then we look at the ranking of the different seals, see the highest ranked one, look at the comments, make any modifications. For instance, should we add roots to the tree? Should the river next to the tree be bigger? I called it granimals in my dating, mixing and matching the different seals of what people... You agree? Yeah. There's been, discussion regarding, do you like 13 spelled out, or would you rather have the numbers or the 13 sides? So looking at those elements. Yeah, it's a river. That's 13 sides, and that's why that design does not have the 13 villages written out in any way.
I just wanted to clarify some things from our report. The earliest that we know, louder? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm Lisa Dady. I was on the City Seal Working Group. And I just wanted to say that the earliest that we know the seal was being used was 1865. We don't know how much farther back it goes than that. And the other piece that we should clarify is the working group and all of the public comment, and we had a lot of public comment and survey work done during the time the working group was meeting, was not that the seal is offensive because there's Native Americans on it. In fact, many people were happy to have the Native Americans be on there, represented in some way, and for that to continue. What they found offensive was that it was a picture of one culture and religion telling another culture and religion that they're inferior and that they must change their ways. That's the piece that's offensive. So I'll just use my own personal example. My family was Catholic and we lived in a majority Protestant town. And I remember, and this is as recent as the 1970s, people looking down on us because we were Catholic and not Protestant. And so the people who commented on this were from many different backgrounds. There was not one particular unified group of one background that found this offensive. It was a very cross the board in terms of across different villages in the city, different ages and different religious backgrounds that felt like the story that it was depicting was arrogant, cultural arrogance, and they didn't think that Newton represented that today.
Okay.
So going back to the August 21st, look at the ranking of the seal, look at the comments, and then how long
Yep, so ultimately, the group that votes on this is the city council. So on July 10th, we're presenting again to the programs and services, which will probably be a virtual meeting. Once we have our final version and we make our tweaks, we will then present to the city council, programs and services, who will make the recommendation to move it forward, and then it ultimately comes before the full city council. I actually hadn't really thought about a color. Like, I would assume a color and black and white, both versions, but they ultimately, the city council makes the final decision.
Hi, I'm Julia Maliki. I actually thought it was an oak tree, which would have, I thought it was an oak tree. It would have been fine. I actually think the roots, it's got a exposed root flare, which is what you want on a tree, so that part looks good. Do people want more to show the underground part of the roots, or what was?
I think there were a couple of comments about showing more of the underground.
People have, and a lot of people have misunderstandings about what the underground of roots, they're wide but not deep, yeah. So I'm, whether it's an oak or a maple, I think oaks are actually more common, but I do like the idea of the tree because it's alive and it looks, just guesstimating the age of the tree, at least 100 years old, which is actually older than City Hall, and it just feels more environmental and something you can feel good about. I kind of wish the river looked more like a river. It could be like it could be a dirt road. I don't know. And I actually like the 13 sides. I don't know what coin it reminds me of. Maybe something in England that was 7-sided. I just don't remember. But I like that way of getting 13 in there. I had a couple of questions. Curious about your typefaces, just because I like typography. And also, is this intended to be on a flag?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
We do have a flag, but we hadn't, so once this process, it's like, you know, we can discuss, are we going to look at branding? But we, right now, are very focused on getting the city seal.
And there's a variety of different typefaces. The only one that's custom is on A at the top where it says City of Newton. The other ones are preset typefaces. I'm sorry, I don't have them memorized, the names of them memorized, but I'm sure I can get that to you. My apologies. So they're set typefaces. I can't remember the names of them at this exact moment. My apologies. The only one that's customized is the one on A at the top where it says City of Newton. The other ones are preset typefaces that the city can use and or purchase if they want a larger family of what's there. Sorry, I can probably get you the exact typeface.
Yeah, we can put that in.
We can easily add that, yeah. I didn't realize I was going to get a typography question, so.
And one of the things to make this more accessible for those particularly who have screen readers, we're going to add some text in, so we can add that in.
I would second the comment about spelling out Massachusetts.
Okay.
And especially if it's going to be, I mean, if it's, the old way was capital M-A-S-S period, zip codes, it just seems kind of cringy to put zip code, like not postal abbreviations, and then put a period after capital M, capital A. So I like to spell that.
Okay. Spelled out fully Massachusetts or drop the S, which is what I think. Did I see another hand? Okay. Any other comments? Bill, any comments online? I'm not sure if any, okay. So, oh. So do you have, right now we're taking comments on the 3 designs?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was brought up by somebody on the design committee. The 1628 Charter of Massachusetts Bay Company stated that one of the chief purposes of establishing a colony in New England was to win the natives of the country to the knowledge and obedience of the only true God and Savior of mankind. So to say that it was arrogant, no, this was their mission, and this was the history, and this is what happened. Thank you.
So, see no other questions, nothing online. Again, the survey is staying open until Tuesday, August 21st. If you have other questions, comments, you can, most people I think know me. You can feel free to email me, but we also have a City Seal email account. You can email into, feel free to reach out with any questions. I will make sure I get you the slides. And thank you for coming tonight. Yep, the typefaces. And again, a accessible version for screen readers will be coming out. So thank you for coming. Thank you for, I'm sorry? So as of yesterday morning, we had 140, no, today's Tuesday. As of Monday morning, we had 146 responses. But I didn't ask, and most started responding by Friday. So, thanks for coming out and enduring the heat.